Hi everyone, Elle Ingalls here. Oh, I'm admitting a few more people in, which is fantastic. Welcome to this series, Pressure Free Living's interview series for April. I'm doing 3 weeks. We started this week and 2 more weeks, 9 p.m. Eastern every night with leadership and mental performance coaches from the US, from Canada, and from Australia. Nobody from Europe this time. Sometimes I have Europeans in, but 9 o'clock Eastern is kind of a weird time for them to be up and do an interview with me. So I'm limited to those places. And tonight I have a very special guest. Lila Veronica and I met in 2017. It's been quite a journey ever since. Truly one of my best friends on this planet, lives in Colorado. And so, Lila, I want to welcome you, and you get to take it away and introduce yourself, and we'll fly from there.
Thank you so much, Miss L. Ingalls. Thank you so much. I will say I recently connected with some new people who are speakers in this series. And when I reached out to them, I said, hey, I just want to connect because L tends to attract really amazing leaders. And so I just want to thank you for bringing together so many leaders to bring, innovative ideas to help people perform at a higher level,
And
live
if you're
stress-free.
watching this, please connect to all of us. Last night, one of the speakers from the night before came into the room. And when we closed out in the private Zoom room and talked, it turned out that one of the people watching, they coach a volleyball team in Michigan. He coaches in Illinois. They're going to be at the same event. Courts right next to us. They're like 50 courts. They're on court 49 and 50. It's this huge event. So now they're friends. So you don't know who you might meet in this room. And if you're on Facebook and you want to come live into this room, it's www.zoomwithL.com. We'd love to have you. All right, Leela.
Zoom with L, E-L-L-E. Zoom
Mhm.
with L, like the clothing line or the magazine or the
Right.
movie, uh, uh,
Legally
Legally
blonde.
Blonde, right?
Right.
So yeah, I'm really grateful to be here. My name is Lila Veronica, and I am a speaker and a coach and the CEO of Riverstone Movement School. And I teach a dynamic posture practice that helps you position your body in a stress-free, open, dynamic position. And so what I'm going to do today is teach you actually how to sit and stand and walk in a whole new way. So when Elle and I met, I we were both in a high-level mastermind program. We met, we, as a story for another day how we did it. But basically, I learned how to not trigger stress hormones, and she learned how to create dynamic posture in her body. And what's neat is that dynamic posture, open, curvy, fluid posture, is the posture of a pressure-free body, of a stress-free body. And so her and I have done retreats together, helped lots of clients together. And one thing that I love about talking about the posture too is if you're a speaker or if you're a leader or if you're anybody who's in front of people ever, you want to be mindful about the way that you are walking and sitting and standing and moving through space. So there's most people make they say there's research on this. They say 11 impressions in the first 7 seconds. So surely you made an impression about me if you've never met me in the first 7 seconds. So my intention is to make a good impression. And one way I do that is body language. And so I'm going to teach you today some ways to have open dynamic posture that'll improve your body language, give you higher performance, and um, give you better, excuse me, give others a better impression of you from the moment they see you. So let's dive in. Elle, I would be curious,
Yeah.
um, is there anything else you want to share about, your posture? I don't want to,
I'm
give too
I'm
much
I'm kind
away.
of looking at it right here. When I started working with you, it was a combination of pressure free, my method on myself, And then when I started working on you with you, yeah, she puts her hands on you if you're in person. Like she'll she'll fix you. Um, like I would want to wear a turtleneck. And so like this is a 62-year-old neck.
Décolleté, darling.
Yeah, and
So
so it's cool.
So I have been a witness of her and many others who fall in love with parts of their body that maybe they never really loved before, or they haven't for a while. They haven't really loved for a while because you can craft your body. You can reshape your body like clay. So let's go into it. I'm going to pull up some slides. We'll just go.
Oh, I do need to say my arms too. Like, oh, you can't, like I'm moving my arm around, you can't really see it, but this is a tight shirt, so you can kind of see like my arms. I don't lift weights very much at all, but she crafted my arms. Super cool.
She crafted her arms based
I
upon
crafted my arms based on what I learned from you.
what
Right?
you learned from me. Yeah. So even if you're somebody who's strong and fit and everything, you may not be balanced left, right, front, center, or front, back, up, down. So what I'm going to show you today will help you with the balance piece, even if you're strong. If you have any tension, if you're not very, flexible, like you feel like you can't get around, this will help you as well. But what really I want to talk about today is how to put your body in the positioning of high performance, low anxiety, right? And low stress. And ideally, when you're open and dynamic and fluid and utilizing your energy sustainably throughout the day, you sleep better as well. That's what this event is all about. And so that's what we'll talk about with the body today. I will say one more thing about Elle's experience. Your back body's changed too a little bit, right?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. For sure.
Which is
Yeah.
cool.
Hmm.
Yeah, so a lot of people's back starts hurting or their booty goes away, as they get older. And so Elle's been able to maintain, a dynamic posture and protect her back and all that as well. So she doesn't have any of that problems. All right. All right. So we're going to dive in. I'm just going to show you a few slides today so that so I would love to, we're going to talk about dynamic posture today. Um, I would love to know if you want to put in the chat, what does dynamic mean to you? So I would love to hear or see when you think of dynamic, what comes up for you? And if you want to share, you can. And if not, as always, this is a pressure-free environment. And then the next question is, in what one area of your life would you like to be more dynamic? What's an area of your life that you'd love to be more dynamic? So I read this to Elle earlier, and I want to read it to everybody here. Your life won't soar unless your body and mind are firing on all cylinders. So Grant here in the chat said, ever changing and in motion. Exactly. Dynamic. You are in motion. You are ever changing. That is the truth. I think there's something like 30 million billion cells per day or per month or something. I forget what it is. I just saw the number today, but how many cells? 37 million new cells every second. We make 37 million new cells every second. Our bodies are amazing. Now, are we dynamic beings? I believe so. So, what I'm going to teach you is a posture, a way to position your body, how to use your mind to put your body in a dynamic position so that you can soar, so that you can be more mindful and in alignment while you're in motion. I love that, Grant. That was a fun one. So here, this is I created the Riverstone Movement School dynamic alignment system here after studying for decades of movements, but another movement system in particular that I love called the bowspring. But it's the what I wanted to do was simplify it. I wanted to make it much more accessible. So what I'm going to do today is I'm just going to show you a few pieces of the 7 key body parts of Riverstone Movement School system. And what it is to help you change the shape of your body so that, like L, you have that open décolleté, that heart, those shoulders open, that collarbone, that throat open, her arms, right? She said, you helped me craft my arms. So I want to help you do the same thing. And it's just a system. It's super simple once you learn it. But Elle keeps practicing. Elle's in my membership. She practices 3 days a week with me still because we have to keep moving our body. What I want you to know today is how to walk, sit, stand at least. So here is how you stand. Now, you'll notice the rib cage is what we call the heart, and the rib cage is in front of the hips. That's one of the biggest things. Is right now, even where you're sitting, if you're sitting, just play a little bit and move your rib cage forward in front of your hips, over your hips, back. And just notice if you move it too far forward, there might be pressure on your back. Don't go too far. If you go back, you kind of feel your stomach crunching a little bit. It gets a little bit shorter. If you're over your hips, it's a different feeling. So what we want to do is a dynamic movement, meaning when you're in action, in motion, your rib cage is going to be forward. Your heart's going to be in front of your hips. Okay. Hips are going to be back. Your head is going to be forward. One of the biggest mistakes people make is having the chin down. Even in this photo, I would say my chin could be lifted a little bit more, just a little bit more. But you want your eyes to look out in the horizon. You want your computer to be eye level. If you're on your cell phone, you want to be mindful not to spend a lot of hours of the day with looking down. The position of down with the head is depressed or inwardness. And if you want to be a high performer, you need to lift your head up and be with yourself, yet outward in the world. And so you want to be mindful not to get that head down too often, keep that head lifted. And then also throughout the day, between meetings, as much as you can, look out into the distance. I'm looking out right now because this is where a window is. I can look out into the woods. You might not have a window with the woods or something far distance. So you might just look out into the wall, out into another room. But you want your eyes to look out. And what it does is it actually lifts your head up and back on your shoulders so that you don't get text neck. That text neck issue is a big problem for your back and all of that. So heart forward, your hips are back, and your head is lifted. So what I want you to see here also, the elbows and hands, arms and hands are in front of your rib cage. You may not be able to stand all day with your arms forward like a zombie, but you're going to keep your elbows and your hands forward in front of you as much as you can during the day. On your computer, when you're driving, elbows forward, not back. Because why? Well, it's the position of winning. Okay. Now, you're also, when you're standing, you want more bend in your knees. Keep those knees soft. Keep those knees soft. Keep those knees soft. Even if it's just a little bit, a lot of softness in your knees as you stand and as you walk. Now, there's more details to this I'll show you in a second. But what I want to do is we're going to stop this. And if you want, we're going to practice sitting as well. So you kind of saw the standing. What I want to show you is the sitting, and we're going to talk about the belly when we do so. So if you want to, you can kind of stand up a little bit, and you're going to grab your booty, and you're going to sit your booty back so that you're sitting more on your legs and you're not sitting on your tailbone. So same thing. Rock your rib cage back now and see how your tailbone tucks. Tailbone tucks from an animal means fear, weakness, timid. So we don't want to be fear, weakness, timid. We want to be dynamic and powerful high performers. So we wiggle the booty back. We don't really sit on the booty, the glute muscles as much as we do the hamstrings. Now take your hands, you're going to roll your inner thighs in. I'll show you here. You're going to roll that inner thigh in, okay? And what that does is it gives you a wider base. Women, if you're listening, you're like, I don't want a wide base. It's all about the base, baby. We want that wide base. We want a wide hips. And I promise you, if you get, let that hips go wide and don't let that tail tuck, it'll start to make your waist more narrow and it'll actually give you this really beautiful hourglass shape. So don't worry about the wide hip thing. It's actually quite beautiful. Um, you want to be on your hamstrings. Now, here's the other thing. Relax your belly. So L. Ingalls teaches pressure-free, how to not release stress hormones into your body. And one of the ways, one of the tools is to relax your belly. Now, if you're somebody who's done lots of ab workouts, or you've been told to, stand up straight, tuck it in, shoulders back. When I'm saying shoulders wide and forward, relax the belly, right? And be curvy. It's very different. So if you're in a paradigm of stand up straight, suck it in, shoulders back, and this is hard or weird, it's normal. It makes sense that it's weird. So relax the shoulders wide and forward with the ribs, the booty's back, you're on your legs, and relax your belly, lift your throat. And what happens is when you relax your belly button away from your spine, you're more open, you're less guarded. There's not a shield up. And when you're a high performer and a leader, uh, the best leaders are grounded in their bodies and open. They're not guarded and in their head. I'll say that one more time. The best leaders and performers, they're fully grounded, they're fully in their body, right? They're open, so there's no guard here, and they're not up in their head. And that's what this posture system can teach you. So there's more details, right? Elle, you know how we go into it. We go into the fingers. We'll talk a little bit about the fingers and toes here in a second. There's a lot of details. But once you learn the details, then you know them. And here's the thing, it's a binary system. So right now, in the future, you can't unknow this. Your tailbone is either going to be tucked or untucked. Okay? Your belly's either going to be tight or relaxed. Okay? Your shoulders are either going to be scrunched back or soft and wide. Right? We could go on and on and on. So that's what this posture system is all about.
Can I share something here?
Yeah.
I love what you said about not being guarded. I used to run a symphony. I used to play in a symphony, and we had as a guest artist Vanessa Williams, the actress and the former Miss America, like amazing person. And I will never forget how during rehearsal, instead of facing out to the audience like she would be during performance, she turned to us, and I was seated pretty close to her, and we played with her.
Mm.
She had nothing here that was tense or tight. It was fully open and fully connected to the rest of us. And it was one of the most beautiful rehearsals I ever
Wow.
remember experiencing with a guest artist like that. And so I'm sure that her front was very, very relaxed and open in that moment because I could feel it. Could feel it from way back in the orchestra. They could feel it. So it's kind
Well,
of
there you
cool.
go. Case in point, friends. Exactly. So she's a high performer if there is one. So you can feel it. So that's what we want for everybody here. We want everybody to be able to be high performers without burning out, without stressing out, and without pushing people away, right? Or
Mhm.
even like sometimes we all know that like everything's energy, and when you're guarded, like you might almost be like invisible to people, you know? You're like, I have this awesome thing. I do this great thing. I want to help people. I want to do this great thing. But for some reason, it's not working. And maybe, just maybe, it's the stress chemicals like Elle talks about. Maybe, just maybe, it's your posture, right? There's a woman I know who does these videos. I've been watching her and she points her fingers on the video. And I'm like, it's actually in some cultures faux pas. It's to, it's incorrect behavior to point your finger. So there's like
Mhm.
little things you want to understand about body language if you're going to be a high performer. One of them is this like heart forward, hips back, head lifted, soft knees. Now let's talk a little bit about fingers and toes. So I talk with my hands a lot. It's good to talk with your hands on camera. It's good to talk with your hands in ways that are pertinent to the conversation. But I have a tendency to do this. And a lot of people, they have text thumb. So we have text neck, text thumb. You can see here, but my phone, but the thumb. So what happens is the thumb is one of the first places where arthritis starts. So as a high performer, you don't want to be in pain, right? And if you have pain anywhere, it's going to take energy away from you being able to have mental capacity, right? And even energy. So, what you want to do is instead of letting those thumbs go away from the hand and that tendon pops out, boop, you want that thumb to start coming closer to the hand. Okay. So, when you're driving, instead of holding the wheel like this, hold it like this. When you have this is a mason jar, pretty large. So I actually hold it from the bottom like this, or you could get a smaller cup, right? You could have a smaller cup to hold. Also, if you lift weights, this is a big one. If you lift weights, instead of holding the bar like this, hold the bar like this. And then when you're just day-to-day operations, see if you can get that thumb to come a little closer. Now, there's other little tips and tricks with the hands, but that's the biggest thing is see if you can keep those hands a little softer, like a baby, right? Come back to more natural, youthful position. And then with the feet, your toes, the tendency of most people is the toes tend to lift or they're not like all working because they're in shoes all the time. And so you want to make sure to learn how to get those toes down and relaxed if they're lifted and move more from the front of your feet, the paw of your foot. So a dynamic positioning where you're more in motion, right? You're going to be more on the front of your feet like a starter block. Now, not intense, but just gently where the heel of your feet are light or maybe even just a little bit lifted. So your heart's forward, your hips are back, your knees are bent. There's more weight on the front of your feet. And your head is looking out into the distance. Your belly soft and open, and your fingers are relaxed. That's the position of winning. That's the position of stress free. And that's the position of leadership in a dynamic way.
So beautiful. It's so beautiful. I taught this to a business coach and it totally changed some things for him. How people related to him, how people saw him, it's really interesting.
Yeah. One of my favorite things to do is I do these posture assessments with people and I
Mhm.
see like, their posture, but then I also kind of see how they walk. And I was like, oh man. And also I've done these workshops before where I've brought people in and I've had them like walk the runway and tell them what's going on,
Yeah.
right? And and retreats, right? Walking the runway and showing people like what's going on. And the cool thing is, it's like you can't see yourself, number one. So if you want to up level your game in your life, in your business, in your career, your relationships, anything, it might not be a bad idea for you to ask somebody like, "Hey, what do I look like when I walk?" Because like sometimes you see people walk and you're like, "Oh my God." Like if they knew they had banana legs, if they knew they were looking like a pigeon, if they knew they were, like all of these things, like, this thing they don't even know, and they're like, "Oh my God," right? And all they have to do is boop, lift up a little bit, right? When I was young, I had a bow leg. I was really bow-legged. And so I was able to correct that over, time,
Wow.
when I was
It's
younger.
interesting when my kids were smaller, oh, younger, I should say, before I knew you. Uh,
Yeah.
they had all learned about forward head syndrome from our chiropractor. And so we were driving to school and we would drive to school past this huge federal building. And the boys would watch the people crossing the sidewalk to go into work. And out of 10 people, you would be lucky if one of them had their head up. Everybody's head was down and forward. They weren't even on phones, but they're doing so much on their phones and laptops all the time. Like that becomes their natural position. So like walking in, it's like they need a cane in their hands. Like it was unbelievable how curved their back was and how head forward their head was. And these are people in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. It was just really interesting to the boys.
From my experience, the younger person that I see, the more forward their head is. The older they are, the less forward their head is actually, typically. Unless they've had some sort of like injury or some sort of it's usually more like massive grief.
Mhm.
So I forget what it's called, but there's like that widower hump. There's that
Mhm.
thing. It's like that, you might see somebody's like, and they call it the widow,
Dowager's hump. It's
yeah,
called a
dowager's
dowager's
hump,
hump.
but it's like some say it's from heartache, you know,
Oh, it's also from the release of stress hormones.
and
That's
the
a,
release of stress hormones,
yeah,
which is all
that's,
related,
yeah, sure is.
right? Crazy. Isn't that cool?
That is cool.
So, you know, we see this a lot. There's this drug thing in the country that where people are all bent over, right? And that's I just, it's just so opposite of alive,
Yeah, that's true.
right? So
It's
I
really
want
true.
everybody to say, hey, like, pay attention. Oh, the other thing is nobody, you can't see yourself, but the other thing is nobody ever taught you how to walk, typically. People say stand up straight, right? And that's like sit up straight. Oh, okay. Right. Well, what we know is that if sit up straight and stand up straight was easy, we'd all be doing it. Okay. It's really not. Why? We're not straight line beings. Our spines aren't straight. There's nothing straight in our body. It's all curves. And like beautiful Grant said, we're in motion, never changing. So standing up straight and rigid doesn't work for us. If it did, it would work. Now, what we do know works because it's worked for you, it's worked for me, and it's worked for hundreds, I don't even know, thousands maybe at this point of people that we know, is embracing the whole body curvature. Then all of a sudden, you can like have a posture that feels comfortable, that's fun, feels good, makes you look good, have energy, and nobody's ever going to come up to you and say, stand up straight, put your shoulders back.
Right.
Right? Because you're what happens over time with this, like any high performer, you learn something and then you practice a lot. And
Mhm.
then at some point, it becomes embodied. It's like driving a car now, right?
Mhm.
You don't have to like, you don't really, if you never exercised with me again and you just did the how to walk and, you just walked and sit and stood like I've taught you, you'd
Mhm.
be fine.
Yeah, drive, all of it.
And drive in and, doing the dishes and,
I do everything
right.
in the frame. I call it the
Yeah.
frame. Yeah.
She uses a high performance posture all day long. That's a high performer. It matters more what you're doing when nobody's looking.
That's true. That's
And
really
that's what this
true.
is. That's what you and I are all about,
Yeah.
right? So,
Well,
yeah.
Lila, how can
Yeah.
people get a hold of you? Oh, Tara says on Facebook, she goes, need to watch from the beginning. Peace. That's great.
Yes, yes, that would be wonderful. So if there's a couple options. Number one, if you want to take advantage of the posture assessment that I told you about, that's so fun. I'll look at your posture. I'll give you some tips on how to improve it, basically. I'll show you some things. You go to speakwithlila.com/body. And then if you want this sitting practice in a 10-minute video training, you can go to bodywithlila.com.
Bodywithlila.com or speakwithlila.com/body.
Yep.
Okay, good. And B is going to hop off. We are going to close out our Facebook Live. Thank you so much, Lila. And now we'll open for questions and answers for the private Zoom rooms. So I'm going to go ahead and take us out of Facebook and take us out of the recording. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll have another speaker tomorrow night. Let us see.